The writer J.D. Salinger certainly experienced trauma. He experienced, without question, some of the most intense and horrific battles of World War II. He was there at Utah Beach on D-Day, miraculously surviving the killing fields of Hurtgen Forest, and he saw the atrocities at Dachau. The war nearly broke him. He was briefly hospitalized for combat fatigue. Later, he would tell his daughter, "You never really get the smell of burning flesh out of your nose entirely, no matter how long you live." But through it all, through the intense fighting, the deadly conditions, the very struggle for survival, he was writing a book, The Catcher in the Rye, that was destined to become an American classic. Salinger carried the first 6 chapters with him while storming the beaches of Normandy. He wrote chapters literally in foxholes. That's intense dedication and perseverance. He certainly felt the pressure of time. He wasn't sure he would live out each day and was frantically trying to leave something of value behind. But why am I so focused on Salinger's war experience? The Catcher in the Rye, after all, is a book about young Holden Caulfield, a failing and pretty rich prep school kid wandering through the streets of New York. We're very far from Normandy, Europe, and foxholes. But what is the book really about? Like all great books, it's about so much more than its plot. At its core, we are reading about the story of someone on the threshold of adulthood who is constantly looking for guidance and comfort from those older than him, but is only faced with rejection and confusion. The adult world, a world which in Salinger's case sends their kids off to be killed in war, or in Holden's case sends them off to boarding school, is one that abandons its kids, hides truths, dismisses their struggles, and has forgotten that the job of adults is to help and protect kids as they transition into adulthood. Salinger could have written a literal war book to explore these themes, but others were doing that, and besides, by making the story smaller and perhaps more relatable, he can make it more universal. But back to Holden. He seems unable to comprehend anyone who can go through life with sanity and focus. Anyone who appears to do so must be hiding something, must be, in Holden's words, a phony. Is he wrong? When you read the book as a young person, you are right with Holden, empowered and rebelling against the adult world. They created this mess. They should fix it, or at least acknowledge and respect the younger generation's fears. And that is exactly how young readers understood the book when it was published in 1951, in an adult America that seemed to have already moved on from World War II, where politicians, the media, and the advertising world saw little but blue skies and success for all ahead. It became essential reading for the countercultural movement of the 50s and 60s, a movement that did not see the world with such rosy filters, especially as the march to war began again. I love this quote by William Faulkner, who neatly conflates Salinger and Holden. "I think what I saw in that book was a tragedy which, in a way, represented Salinger's own tragedy. There was a young man, intelligent, a little more sensitive than most, who simply wanted to love mankind. And when he tried to break into mankind, to love mankind, man wasn't there. That, to me, was the tragedy of the book." As an adult reading the book now, I feel less by Holden's side, less the rebel fighting the older generation, but rather a sense of sadness and collective guilt over how we aren't there for our young people, how we misunderstand and betray them again and again. It's a reminder that we can do better.